All right, let's get straight to it. Did you know that nearly 70% of digital transformations literally fail to hit their targets? Yeah, 70%. So today, I want you to treat this explainer as your own high-value consulting workshop. We're going to blueprint exactly how you can transform your digital strategy from, a set of lofty ambitions into a grounded, totally measurable reality using strategic portfolio management, or SPM. Grab your notes because we are mapping out a complete end-to-end transformation today. Okay, let's dive into this because honestly, this is the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you connect executive strategy to daily execution? In way too many organizations, the strategic vision lives way up on the 30,000-foot executive floor, but the actual work, well, that happens down on the ground level. And in between, it's just a massive disconnect. We're talking disjointed spreadsheets, fragmented communication, and, that one guy who's still tracking multi-million-dollar projects on sticky notes. The big picture strategy completely detaches from the daily tasks. So fixing that gap, that's exactly what we're solving today. And why does fixing this actually matter? Well, the data is just undeniable here. Organizations that bridge this gap using an AI-powered SPM platform are literally 2 times more likely to see superior business results from their IT investments. Just think about that return on investment for a second. By simply aligning what your people are working on today with what the boardroom decided yesterday, you literally double your chances of outperforming your competitors. 2 times. So here's our quick roadmap for today's explainer. We'll be covering 1, connecting strategy to delivery, 2, fueling the innovation funnel, 3, governing resources and execution, 4, end-to-end delivery workflows, and finally, 5, your 12-month implementation roadmap. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, connecting strategy to delivery. When you activate a unified SPM platform with its 10-plus modules, you aren't just buying another piece of software. You're buying very specific business outcomes. Just watch how chaotic requests hit a single front door, immediately reducing that dreaded demand chaos. You drastically improve resource utilization, so your absolute best people aren't, burning out on low-priority tasks. Because everything is centralized, you accelerate delivery and inherently increase that portfolio ROI we were just talking about. But the real magic? You gain real-time visibility, which gives leadership the power to pivot instantly with AI-powered prioritization whenever market conditions shift. Moving right along to Section 2, fueling the innovation funnel. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that phrase right at the end, before committing to execution. Demand management is essentially your ultimate filter. It's the whole process of centralizing and scoring every single request. Look, without this filter, every loud idea from a stakeholder is going to instantly drain your IT resources. By establishing a formal demand stage, you ensure that only the most strategic, high-value ideas actually make it through the funnel and get greenlit for real funding and staffing. So how does an idea actually grow in this system? Well, think of it like a giant funnel. At the very top, in step 1, you've got organic idea submission via a centralized portal where your community can actually jump in and vote on them. It's great because the best ideas just naturally rise to the surface. Then, in step 2, we apply some rigor with collaborative scoring and status management. Finally, in step 3, the winning concepts graduate. They get promoted from just a raw idea into a formal demand, all while maintaining full traceability right back to the original submitter. You're basically capturing lightning in a bottle, but, doing it with mathematical precision. Now, for the business analysts out there who are orchestrating all of this, your daily governance tasks are about to become incredibly powerful. You get to shift from endlessly chasing emails to actually managing a centralized intake portal. You're overseeing automated workflows right out of the box. And instead of just guessing, you get to perform rigorous ROI calculations and financial pre-planning right at the demand stage. You pre-allocate capacity and use highly configurable scoring criteria to mathematically prove why one project deserves attention over another one. You're establishing total order and structure before a single line of code is written or a single dollar is spent. Okay, let's transition to Section 3, governing resources and execution. Now, when it comes to assigning your people, you generally have 2 main models, centralized or distributed resource methodology. But honestly, I want you to think of resource management sort of like an air traffic control tower. Whether you control all the planes centrally or you distribute that control out to local hubs, you absolutely need radar. The platform gives you these brilliant real-time workload heat maps and capacity forecasting. This lets your resource managers instantly match supply, which is your available talent, with the demand coming down the pipeline, basically preventing any disastrous mid-air collisions of project over-allocation. As execution actually gets underway, you really have to balance two different realities. Over on the left, you've got the hands-on work, right? Agile development, safe, scrum boards, backlog management, sprint tracking. That is how the actual work gets done. But over on the right, you have strict financial governance. We're talking budget planning, tracking actual versus planned costs, and benefit measurement. A truly successful SPM implementation ties these two worlds together completely seamlessly. So a developer moving a task to complete on a Scrum board on the left automatically updates the capital expenditure and value realization metrics over on the right. It's all connected. Let's move into Section 4, end-to-end delivery workflows. And this brilliantly illustrates where all the puzzle pieces of portfolio intelligence interlock. Executives get a massive upgrade in visibility here because the platform actually links directly to your configuration management database, or CMDB. You see the exact lifecycle of your technical applications. You can map your business capabilities directly to the software that supports them. Over in the strategic planning workspace, you can track company-wide OKRs. And with scenario planning, leadership can run what-if models to instantly see how, say, budget cuts or priority shifts are going to impact the entire delivery roadmap. Let's move to and see how this builds a continuous flowing lifecycle right across the AI Power platform. It starts at step 1 with a strategy and OKR set by leadership. That naturally trickles down into step 2, ideation, where the business suggests solutions. The very best ideas then move to step 3, demand, for some really rigorous scoring and approval. Once they're approved, boom, they hit step 4, the portfolio, where they're mapped onto highly visual roadmaps. Then we hand it right over to step 5, execution, where agile teams actually build the product. And wrapping around this whole entire process is step 6, governance, which ensures the financials and resources stay perfectly in check. It's 6 steps, forming one unbroken chain of value. Finally, let's look at Section 5, your 12-month implementation roadmap. All right, speaking as your consultant here, I have to tell you, please do not try to boil the ocean. You need to roll this out incrementally. In phase 1, which is the first 3 months, we just build the foundation. We're talking demand intake, basic project portfolio management, and getting high-level resource plans stabilized. Then we move to phase 2. For months 4 through 6, we expand. We turn on financial planning, the innovation portal, agile boards, and that OKR framework. And finally, in phase 3, covering the back half of the year, we optimize. That is when we introduce the really complex stuff like safe enterprise agile planning, advanced what-if scenario modeling, and activate generative AI to help out with prioritization. Remember, delivering incremental value is the absolute secret to digital transformation. So, the crucial point is this hard-earned lesson from hundreds of previous implementations. Start with out-of-the-box, or OOTB, configurations. Seriously, do not over-customize the platform on day 1. Let your teams learn the standard workflows first, and only customize later once they truly understand what actually works for them. Oh, and above all else, you absolutely must have active executive sponsorship. If your leaders aren't actively using and championing the system, user adoption is just going to stall out. I'll leave you with this final thought. The tools exist, the roadmap is clear, and the ROI is mathematically proven. The only thing standing between a chaotic portfolio and a seamlessly aligned enterprise is your decision to begin. If your competitors make this shift before you do, will your current strategy really be able to keep up? Thank you so much for exploring this explainer with me today. Now it's time to get to work.